Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is Straight Outta Boston here. Today I'm back for episode number 9 of my Boston Bruins Be a GM series here in NHL 16. And today we're ready for the off-season, our first off-season as GM of the Boston Bruins. So we finished with the third worst record in the NHL, as you can see, just behind Winnipeg and Arizona in the reverse standings. We lost out after our final gameplay episode against the New Jersey Devils. And you can see the Montreal Canadiens. We get some bad news. The Canadiens won the Stanley Cup, but we get some good news. And that good news is that Zdeno Chara has decided to return for at least one more season, and that is big news for us because if we had lost Zdeno Chara, we probably would have had to add at least 2, if not 3 defensemen to this team. Torrey Krug really would have been our only solid top 4 D-man left, but we get Chara back, so that does fill one of those top 4 roles for us. But here we go. Now we're ready for the NHL entry draft, and unfortunately we get the bad news that we've been jumped in the lottery by the Colorado Avalanche, so we now have the 4th pick. So we're going to simulate the first couple picks here. Jacob Chichurin goes number 1 to Arizona, and in a shocker, Sean Day goes number 2 to Winnipeg. This means Austin Matthews has fallen to number 3, and this opened the door for an absolute blockbuster of a trade. 2 first-round picks, a second-round pick, and Jesse Gabriel for Tyson Barrie, and the number 4 overall pick from the Colorado Avalanche. Now, those 2 first-round picks were given up are the 4th pick and the 16th pick in this draft. So it's the 4th, the 16th, and then the Islanders, I don't know where their second-round pick was. I want to say it was like middle of the round. And then Jesse Gabriel, the 4th-round pick from the 2015 draft for the Bruins, all for the number 3 pick and Tyson Barrie. So normally I would go on some long monologue explaining a big blockbuster trade like that, but this time I'm just going to put sort of a description for it in the description of this video because I really don't want to waste too much time in this video. This is a very fast-paced video, a lot of things going on in this offseason, so we got to get to them. So with the 21st pick in the draft, we're going to go with Zip, the D-man out of Canada, who turns out to be a top 4 D medium potential, so we like that. That's what I was looking for out of that 21st pick. And then we're going to go with Matthew Hotchkiss here in the 4th round. We did not pick again to the 4th round. We had to give up the Islanders' second rounder in that Tyson Barrie trade. That was the only second rounder we owned, and we already traded our 3rd rounder. So we're going to get Hotchkiss with the 4th round pick. Remember that name because he's going to pop up again later in this offseason. Then we're into the 5th round. We're looking at Josh Burnside here, a guy, another Canadian here, a playmaker. And these potentials, our scouting department is, I don't know what it is. The scouting is a little bit weird in this game. I don't know if it's my scouting department, but all the scouting ratings are very off in the draft. So I was pretty much picking guys based on where they were projected to go. And we're going to go with Brandon DeJong here later in the 5th round. That was with the Wild pick. Then we had one more pick in this draft, a 7th rounder. We're going to go with Jay Merkley here, another Canadian, a center who's going to end up having bottom 6 potential. So we got some pretty good late round picks there. I mean, if we could get, you know, bottom 6 guys or, bottom pairing guys out of, a couple of those, I really would not be too mad. So there you can see our 6 draft picks. Now we are going to move forward into the contracts phase of this video. So Austin Matthews, 83 overall. We're going to give him his entry-level deal. We're also going to sign Jake DeBrusk, one of our first-round picks from last year. So we're going to give him a entry-level contract as well. And then I'm going to go through a bunch of trade or contract offers here. Max Talbot, I wanted him on a 2-year deal, so we're going to offer him that. Not a 2-year deal, a 2-way deal, excuse me. And Michael Boddicker looking for a long-term extension. I'm going to offer him 4 years, $24 million. Not a ginormous contract, but he did only finish with 16 goals this season. So Kevin Miller, we're also going to offer a contract. Hopefully he will either be a bottom pair D-man or a depth guy for me. Brett Connolly gets a 2-way deal. Seth Griffith, we're going to extend 3 years, $2.15 a year. Pretty good if he ends up playing on our 3rd line, which I think he will, if not our 2nd line, as he actually progressed pretty nicely this offseason. Alexander Koklachev, you can see there, we're going to give him a 1-year, 1-way offer. He wanted the bridge year. If you wanted the bridge, sort of a bridge contract, I think he is looking to have a breakout season. And then Tyson Barrie, 3 years, $4.8 million, and Torrey Krug, 4 years, $4.4 million. So we lock up 2 key members of our defensive core for the coming seasons. And we're also going to lock up Joe Morrow, 2 years, $0.775 million, I think, 2-way deal. So he takes that offer, and you're going to see, we are going to start seeing the acceptances flood in here. Kevin Miller, Colin Miller, Zach Trotman, Tyson Barrie. I didn't show every contract I offered, but I tried to get all the NHL guys in there and then all of our big prospects. So you can see guys like Zach Phillips. I mean, guys I figured you didn't really care about. Brandon DeVazio, Brian Ferland, Dalton Smith. I mean, it just would have wasted time in the video, so I decided not to put those clips of me actually offering those guys contracts into the video. But here we go now. You're going to see these are the guys that we're going to be letting walk. A lot of veterans. Chris Kelly, Boyd Gordon I would have wanted back actually because he has a 90 face-off rating, but he was looking for upwards of like $1.3 million, which for a 4th liner I didn't really want to pay. And then Jonas Gustafsson ends up declining our offer as he was pretty fed up with us by the end of the year, but we do re-sign Jeremy Smith, and then we're into free agency here. Take a look at the crop of free agents. It's not a great free agent list, but there are some pretty solid players there, so I knew I wanted to clear a little bit more cap space. We're going to flip Matt Bolesky for a pair of draft picks in the Florida Panthers, a team with a ton of cap space. And then we're going to go after the local kid, Kevin Hayes here, restricted free agent from the New York Rangers. We're going to give him a 3-year, $3.5 million offer. It's $3.5 a year, and that would be a second-round compensation if he does sign that, and the Rangers don't match. We're also going to give Braden Coburn and Chris Russell identical 2-year, $10 million offers. Hopefully one of them signs. They were the best defensive defensemen left in this free agency class. There were some other good defensemen, but a lot of them were offensive-minded, and I thought with Barry and Krug already locked up, I'm going to want to add some defensive defensemen to surround those guys with. And then you can see here I'm offering a lot of contracts to some younger guys in free agency, guys who I think, you know, maybe with their ceiling, with their, you know, relative, a lot of them had relatively low ceilings, but you know, still guys who I thought maybe could come up at some point and provide, and, you know, produce for our big league clubs. So I also offered Marcus Kruger a contract. I figured he'd be a pretty solid fourth line center. He's very good in the faceoff dot. And you can see Brandon Pierre also offered a contract. So we're going to start to advance a couple days here. Kevin Hayes accepts our offer, but we will have to wait and see if New York is going to match. And then you're going to see, you know, some guys accepted our offer, some guys didn't. I think I probably signed about like maybe 60 to 70% of the guys I offered contracts to, but Chris Russell declines. That is big. Brandon Peary declines. He actually didn't like it because our team chemistry was so low, so that kind of worried me a little bit. Kevin Poulin rejected, and Braden Coburn also rejected. So we lose out on Coburn and Russell. I really wanted one of those guys. Would have been our fourth and final defenseman for our top four. So I was looking at a couple trade candidates here. Andrew Ferentz, James Wisniewski. I was looking for some veteran guys on one-year contracts, not big money and not big value. The money wasn't quite as important, but I really cared. I didn't want to give up too much. I'd already made so many big name trades, or, you know, I'd given up a lot for Boddicker and I'd given up a lot for Barry. I really didn't want to offer up too much. So we're going to offer up Hotchkiss for Andrew Ferentz here, and that is going to be the final trade of our offseason. We're also going to pick up Kevin Hayes. New York decides not to match, so we surrender our 2017 second-round pick. So here's what our lineup's looking like. You can see Matthews already bumped up to an 85 overall, so I decided to put him on the second line with Krejci. I'm also putting Kevin Hayes there for now, but we've got plenty of guys who could play on that second line right wing. We've got Hayes there, but we could put Griffith there. We could even put Jimmy Hayes there as well if he sort of gets his head out of his ass. Right now his overall is a little bit low because he's disgruntled, even though I added his brother through free agency, but whatever. So, and you can see Malcolm Subban also is going to take over as our backup goaltender next year. So like I said, if you guys want to read the rationale or sort of the explanation behind that Tyson Barrie trade, check the description below. And then also I want to say, for fans of my other series, just the rest of this week, I don't know how many videos I'm going to be able to put up. I am in the midst of finals week at my school, and I'm just going to be extremely busy, but I'll be home on Friday, and then I'll be on winter break. My winter break is extremely long because my school runs on the trimester system, and so my winter break is like Thanksgiving to New Year's, and during that time period, I'm going to be putting out videos like no one's business. So, alright, hope you guys did enjoy this. Thanks for watching, and I'm out. Peace.